That's a fabulous video. Welcome to ARC. Welcome to Remscheid and the industrial heartland of Germany, one of the last bastions that needs an impetus to change and the innovation to make that change happen. Welcome to 2 days of talking about how we actually do it, how we drive clean tech innovation, and welcome to more than 50 expert speakers that have come here from around the world. So thank you for making the journey. It's not easy to get to Remscheid. How many of you knew where Remscheid was before this? 1, 2. Peter's been selling me on this for a few months, and I'm like, I gotta see where this is. But it is absolutely worth it. This is one of the most beautiful industrial towns I've ever seen. And it's... So here's an introduction, quick introduction of myself. My name is Seetharaman. I'm the founder and CEO of a leadership and communications company based in London. My focus has been connecting the dots between the economy, policymakers, business, and specifically looking at the SDGs in the last couple of years, especially so. So thank you for having me. I will be hopefully guiding you a little bit through this journey of trying to talk about real innovation, driving that innovation rather than, very over the head policy kind of conversations that we end up having in a number of these kind of settings. So why are we here? Well, we all know why we're here. We're going to drive serious innovations, but why here in Remscheid? I think Peter is a better person to tell you all about it. So let me give you a quick, brief introduction about the FCA. They're an absolutely wonderful organization. The ARC is, of course, the flagship event that they are hosting, and that has been created by the FCA, which is the Future Clean Tech Architects. It's a think and do tank. He likes to underscore that, so does the team. So thinking and doing, what does that mean? They're independent, they're science-based, they focus on high-impact clean tech, they work with pretty much everyone who needs to be involved in making change happen. And they most importantly prioritize research and development. That is the missing link sometimes. We talk about investing in R&D, but sometimes that just falls through, especially in very hard to abate sectors. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to invite Peter up on stage to tell us a little bit more about why, I have to say this, why Remscheid? Come on.
Remscheid,
yeah.
Thank you, Maithreyi. Well, first of all, welcome everyone, representatives of the United Nations, partners from across Europe and beyond. It's a pleasure you've made it over here. Maithreyi, it's a pleasure we have convinced you to choose Remscheid. So maybe 2 sentences, why is this here? You already said it's one of the last industrial towns in Germany, but it also has traditionally hosted a lot of ideas, a lot of things were invented here. IP, patent rates relatively high in Remscheid, and when we founded FCA, we have some advisory board and expert panel members in the room, we were discussing Bonn and Berlin. Then the pandemic came, and we found out it's more an advantage than a disadvantage to have the industry close by, to be in the industrial heartland, Nordrhein-Westfalen, and to have like the key processes we are focusing on, the neglected technologies at heart, and everybody can travel here relatively easy.
I'm not complaining because, when you're hosted the way we're being hosted, I mean, we're literally taking over this town. If anyone noticed when you were walking, ARC is even painted on the road, so thank you to the mayor whenever we see him.
He's in the audience, yeah.
There he is. Thank you very, very much for that. It makes us all feel very special, especially since we've all come in from different parts of the world to say, this is really important to you and it's important to us. Tell us a little bit more about what we should be focused on in these 2 days, because we don't want it to be airy-fairy conversations. We want real results and real impact.
Correct. I'll start with the why, because you were asking about the why, and I'd kindly ask our team to show 2 or 3 slides or some more, but we'll go through them really quick. You know this from our things. One thing we always do is meetings, if we have a 1-hour meeting, it finishes on time. That's the thing, and that's what we asked from the moderators today as well, because everything is live streamed and broadcast. So we would start with the why. Why focus a whole festival only on innovation? It's because we have gaps in innovation. It's because we got neglected sectors, and that's why we need to drive innovation harder. So looking at the general trajectory we are on in terms of emissions and correlated temperature development, I hope you can see this. Maybe you can turn on the lights on the stage a little bit so people can see that better. You can see where the trajectory is. We are targeting for almost 3 degrees Celsius increase over pre-industrial levels, which is way too high. And why is it so important to act quickly? Next slide, please. We're hitting tipping points, Kipppunkte in German, which is things that would escalate and accelerate climate change disproportionately. So while we might hit some of them in any way, we must avoid or we must make sure to hit as few of them as possible. Next one, please. So what's the problem? The problem from our perspective, FCA and also our co-host, is that in reaching net zero until 2050, you see the time scale, we have technologies at hand that can help us for a big part of the way. But another significant part is missing. They are in early technological readiness levels. We need to develop them, and it takes a long time to develop them. So I hope you can sort of see this. While we have solar and wind, renewables, battery systems, EV, electric vehicles, and other kinds of technologies that will help us, hopefully, if applied correctly, reduce the largest chunk of current emissions, there's a big part where we do not know how to solve this yet. And this includes, we spoke about this earlier, cement, steel. This includes other kinds of technologies, or other kinds of mobility systems, shipping, aviation, and that's what we're focused on. And why drive it hard with innovation? Now you're seeing NASA Explorer 6 from 1959. That's the first satellite that ever took pictures from the Earth, and it was run by solar cells. But look, if we go to the next slide, how long innovation took in photovoltaics until we saw a significant deployment of renewables. So this is massive long-term investments. We're talking hardware. If we're speaking about cement, if we're talking aviation, this is not some software you can develop quickly, but it takes dedicated effort. And these are neglected. That's why we're there for.
Okay.
And that's why we've come here.
That's why we're here. That's why we're all gathered here. So you've taken over the town. We've taken over the town. It's a complicated process of finding out where things are happening. And if you see little gaps in the seats, it's because Breakthrough Energy is having a discussion or in one of the co-working spaces, and they're running over. And I guess conversations with Breakthrough about innovation are far more important than opening ceremonies. I don't know. We're going to hold them to account for that one. But they'll turn up. They'll turn up. Tell us where to go from here and how the whole day, the 2 days will play out.
Great. All of you should have received with your registration a flyer, which our team has carefully prepared, showing you all the stages and the program left hand for day 1 and right hand for day 2. Some of the sessions are co-hosted with our partners, which we'll ask to stage very shortly. We will not only, so there's like 3 levels of discussions. One is a meta level on innovation. How can we structure innovation better? A second topic is on specific industries, the ones I mentioned, cement, long-duration energy storage, aviation, and so forth. And the third one is engaging international cooperation in this and making sure we're reaching the parts where future emissions take place, because only around 15, maybe 20% of future emissions will take place in the US or Europe. It is going to be Africa, it is going to be Southeast Asia or Asia in general, Latin America, elsewhere. So we are so proud to have found partners that brought so many people from these countries over here and such great experts. So that's the way we go about it. And one more thing, Maithreyi, and then you take over again, is, please, next slide. We don't let you go into this session unprepared, but we have, it'll turn up soon, we have prepared mini fact sheets. Some of you know our fact sheet series, giving you at one glance the overview on why hydrogen is important. What is the problem with cement? What is the problem with aviation? So in some of these sessions, our kind team will hand them to you when you enter the room, so you're up to speed right away. And there will be no lengthy introductions of speakers either, but it will be, this is Mrs. So-and-so, that's what she's doing. Let's get down to real results, which we will summarize in the end. So anything you say on stage might be summarized in some nice movie or a key takeaway paper.
Key takeaway paper or a movie, so be careful what you say. He's putting it on the record. Well, thank you for that overview. We're really glad that you invited all of us to attend these, but you didn't do it alone. You've had partners join you to set up ARC, to host ARC. So as you step down, I am going to invite first on stage of the 3 partners, Vanessa Voelkel from UNIDO. Please come on up, Vanessa. Quick question. First time to Remscheid? Have you been here before? YFCA? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, we have been here, so in October, and we came back. And there are many reasons why we are back. So actually, I was even moderating with Peter in October the award ceremony of the UNIDO Global Call, which was a global competition on innovative technologies in cleantech and sustainable land management. And that was a great success, also thanks to FCA, who did the evaluation together with great jury members, from whom I see here also some in the room, from UNFCCC and from UNIDO, who went through the applications. And yeah, that global call results we brought to Glasgow, to the climate change conference, where at the new format of the Global Innovation Hub, we presented these results, and from like 300 applications from all over the world, from 71 countries. So that was a big success. And then in October, we thought we need to come back to Remscheid. And the idea was born with ARC, where we are co-organizing actually 3 panels. One is today with our colleagues from the Energy Department from Vienna, because UNIDO, a specialized agency of the United Nations, which is dedicated to industrialization, sustainable industrialization, is headquartered in Vienna. And there we have an Energy Department also working on the hydrogen topic with industrial clusters and so on. So you will host a session on this, Ion, our colleague from Vienna. And then there is a second session on heavy industry and emerging markets, where we brought industrial leaders from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Egypt, because it's very important when we speak about the 1.5% target or 2% target, that we also speak about emerging economies. We can't just look on the German or European cleantech landscape. There is so much potential in emerging economies about reducing emissions that in the steel or aviation or cement sector, that it's important to look at these industries. And that is why we are happy to have here NJ Ayuk from the African Energy Chamber with us, to have representatives from the steel and cement sector, and those will tomorrow dive deeper in the heavy industries emerging panel. And then lately, the third panel is on the exceptional cleantech leaders, where my colleague Jessica will moderate the panel, and we're also the colleague from the Nigerian office from the ITPOs, like ITPOs, I will mention a bit about this, is there, who was also the jury member last year in the global call. So just one word also about the ITPO, or UNIDO ITPO, you see the logo over there. It's the Investment and Technology Promotion Office of UNIDO, located at the UN campus in Bonn, where also UNFCCC is located, so the other UN organization being here the host. And we work directly with the private sector, we promote investments, and we support the transfer of technologies from Europe to developing countries. So this is a direct collaboration with the private sector. Yeah, and I would just wish you really amazing, inspiring, nice 2 days ahead, with hopefully lots of new valuable contacts, and thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much for that, Vanessa. Our second partner is, of course, the UNFCCC, so if I could ask Daniele Violetti to please come and give you his welcome.
Good morning. Yes, it's my first time here in Remscheid, I have to confess, but I hope I have some time to explore further. Really simply welcoming and so happy to join forces here on the UN climate change side for this important event. I think I cannot be more strong and say how important is innovation in technology in these difficult times. We came out from the COP26 in Glasgow with the overall goal of keeping 1.5 alive. So the goal of the Paris Agreement to be kept in sight, even if we know we don't have enough on the table in terms of commitment and actions to reach that goal, or even the net zero by 2050. So we need more ambition, and of course, unfortunately, we are living in a very difficult geopolitical moment in the world, and this is posing additional challenges. So we have to look at solutions that can help us to get where we need to go. And innovation in technologies is clearly one of the main drivers who can help this level of ambition needed to meet the goal of the Paris Agreement. We just finished our mid-year sessions in Bonn last week. And again, it was a positive session, a positive outcome on the way to COP27 in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh this year, but also a clear indication that a lot of work needs to be done and a lot of action needs to be done in terms of stepping up both ambition but also support. This year will be a critical year for support as well, having a COP in Africa, hosted by an African country, so that will be at the center. So back to the innovation and technology. We also believe, and the work that we are doing at the Secretariat, the technology team is here with me, it's really to try to work on policies and help countries to go in the right direction. And we need more progress on our side in the process as well, but at the same time, we need all actors on board. So I'm very glad that this is a joint effort with many private sector, industry partners. We need everybody on board, and we need to accelerate. And we hope that the overall scenario will improve to the way that this remains at the top of the political agenda and as a priority for everybody. So thank you. Looking forward to the discussion and the outcome of this. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Daniele. We'll hear more from you as he gives his keynote and after a little bit of a break after this welcome. If I could also ask our third partner, Fabian Sacharowitz from EIT InnoEnergy to join us on stage. That would be fantastic. Is Fabian here to give us his welcome? That saves us a little. There you go. Do you want to say a few words on behalf of him?
Yeah, I'll try. Maybe I'm asking, because may I come up?
Of course.
I think I'm always. You know, when we had a preparatory call. When was that? Some might remember it, like 5 days ago, and we were introducing Maithreyi. And what I mentioned was that one of the things that impressed us most when we saw Maithreyi speak is her rambling control, meaning that soon questions in the audience and people ask too long, she goes, can you come to the point, please? And that's why I'm always very hesitant. May I enter the stage already, or is it appropriate? Now, coming back to, we have several people from EIT InnoEnergy. EIT InnoEnergy is a Cleantech, it's the largest European Cleantech ecosystem, basically, that's supporting and investing, or helping to invest into critical cleantech technologies. And they are here as well. Fabian will moderate a session. We have some of the strongest scale-ups on stage, including from InnoEnergy tomorrow, also in the theater, who will describe how they made it that far. I guess he's still stuck on the train or so. Some people are coming in late, as Maithreyi had said, from the Breakthrough Energy sessions in Remscheid, Gründerquartier, where they're all meeting in the co-working space. I would actually like, if you allow 2 or 3 more sentences, I'd like to shed some light on the agenda. Vanessa has pointed out, Daniele was so kind to frame this in the big scenario of innovation. So what you can expect is, for example, because Vanessa was mentioning, we have something out of the ordinary on Thursday, tomorrow, exceptional cleantech leaders. You see the program here again, you probably have it already, it's a handout. So you can see extremely interesting and inspiring women from across the globe explaining their paths on how they are driving cleantech. At the same time, or not at the same time, but before this session, in the morning we'll kick off. You need to get up early enough to be in the City Hall at 9 o'clock. We have, as Vanessa also briefly touched upon, the representatives or key decision makers from African companies that work on cement, that work on steel, and these kinds of processes. Today, we have 2 sessions following this one. You can grab some light lunch out there because questions were asked. It's all vegetarian, don't mind. There's always a vegan alternative for those who mind their diet a lot. So you will go from here to 2 sessions in the City Hall, the Ratssaal, which is completely newly decorated. The mayor might be surprised entering it. You've seen it, okay, we have you on stage. And the second one is in the library, which is just across the street, where we talk about regional industry perspectives. and I hope that's going to be good. But
Great.
speaking, one last sentence on InnoEnergy. Yes, they're very important in the process of looking how we want to change the value chain of these cleantechs, which are sometimes very hard to get into the market because we have the green premiums, but you'll come to that later because in parallel to the library session, you'll be moderating a high-level policy session in the Ratssaal.
Yep.
Um,
And it's going to be about driving that kind of innovation. We'll get down to that. But right now, I think what we do is give you all, because this is not going to be one of those rambling sessions where we make you sit and listen. We're going to give you all a 5-minute break to have a quick glass of water, grab a cup of coffee, whatever you need. Get back here at 12:30, get into your seats. We're going to get all our panels set up, and we're going to deep dive straight into, what are we going to deep dive into? Tell me.
We're going to deep dive into national innovation system. How
There
can
you go.
nations ensure their innovation really works and get it done?
Start with the big picture, drill down into the small picture. So grab your break and come back in 5 minutes.
Thank you so much.